Welcome back to Sacred Conversations where faith and identity meet. If you're new here, take a second to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode that speaks life and healing into your journey. Today's conversation is called Home Again, Rebuilding Family After Faith Fracture. And this one is for anyone who's ever lost the place or the people that once felt like home. For those who've been told you're not welcome, for those who've walked away from a church family, a blood family, or a spiritual family that couldn't see their full humanity. This is a conversation about rebuilding what was broken, not by recreating the old house, but by creating a new home. Because the truth is, sometimes healing isn't about going back, it's about building something better. Sometimes you don't go back home, you build one. When people talk about church hurt or family rejection, they often skip over the grief part. But let's be honest, losing your spiritual family feels like a death. You lose traditions, you lose your seat in the pew, you lose your people, and sometimes you even lose your sense of belonging. It's easy to say, I'm fine, but grief lingers. It shows up in holidays where you feel left out. It shows up when you see family posts online and you realize you're not invited. It shows up when you crave connection but fear rejection. I think about the story of the prodigal son not as a moral lesson about rebellion, but as a story about coming home to love. Because the son didn't just leave a house, he left a place where he didn't feel free. And when he came home, the father ran to meet him. That's what divine love does. It runs toward you, even when people don't. God never told you to chase those who left. He said he'd chase you. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn was that family and belonging aren't always the same thing. You can be related to someone and still not be safe with them. You can share DNA and not share love. And in the church, that's especially painful because we were taught that family is sacred, that blood is thicker than water, that loyalty equals holiness. But here's the truth: loyalty without love is bondage. And God doesn't call us to stay where love has left the room. When Jesus was teaching in Matthew chapter 12, verse 48, he said something powerful. They told him, your mother and brothers are outside. And he said, who is my mother? And who are my brothers? Whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my family. That wasn't disrespect, that was redefinition. Jesus was teaching us that family isn't just about blood, it's about belonging. And belonging is built on love, not control. You see, family isn't who you share blood with, it's who you can share your truth with. Some of us have had to redefine family after faith fracture, and that's holy work because you're not just finding new people, you're finding new peace. I think one of the most beautiful concepts in queer theology is the idea of chosen family, because people who may not share your blood but share your heart, people who show up when others walk out, people who see your worth without conditions, That is amazing. Chosen family is what the early church was all about. In Acts 2, it says they shared everything in common, broke bread, and they met in each other's homes daily. That wasn't about hierarchy, it was about humanity. They built community on love, not law. The early church wasn't a system, it was a supper table. So maybe rebuilding family starts there with tables, with laughter, with honesty, with vulnerability, with meals that say you belong here. Because every time you sit at a table where you are fully seen and fully loved, that's communion. Even if there's no altar, no priest, no organ, that's church. Every safe table is a sanctuary. So let's talk about the practical side of rebuilding family, especially when the people who've hurt you are still around, still talking, or even still misunderstanding who you are. Step one, forgive with boundaries. You can love people from a distance. You can forgive them without giving them access. You see, forgiveness is about freeing your heart, not reopening your wounds. Forgiveness is peace, not permission. And then step two, find affirming people. Surround yourself with those who see your whole self. Church family isn't just who prays for you, it's who celebrates you. And then step three, let healing take time. You don't have to rush restoration. Some connections need to be resurrected, others need to rest in peace. And finally, become the kind of family you needed. When you show grace, kindness, compassion, you're not just healing yourself, you're helping rewrite what family looks like for the next person watching. Sometimes God heals you by making you the safe space you never had. As we close today, I want to remind you that being home again isn't about going back to what broke you. It's about building something rooted in love, truth, and peace. You're not an orphan in God's kingdom. Your family and your belonging isn't conditional, it's eternal. You didn't lose your family, you found your freedom. So this week, I want to leave you with two reflection questions. One, who in your life feels like home, and how can you nurture that connection? Two, what would it look like to build a family that reflects God's love, not people's fear? This has been Sacred Conversations. I'm your host, Drew. And if this episode helped you, please like, share, and subscribe because someone out there needs to be reminded that love still makes room. Until next time, stay true, stay free, and stay in love. Bye.